Hello there, here's a bunch of Star Wars news from the last week or so. So it was only recently we got some potential news about Respawn's Star Wars first-person shooter game. It came from Insider Gaming saying it was going to be Mandalorian themed, not the show, but just playing as a Mandalorian. But not anymore, because EA announced that amid layoffs, that game has been cancelled. EA is culling 5% of their workforce, which amounts to around 670 people, and this is not just EA either. Microsoft did 1,900 a couple of weeks ago, Sony is laying off 900 as well as closing London studio. The whole industry is just in a really awful state right now. But also on the chopping block was Respawn's FPS, which was first announced back in January 2022, not just a week or two ago as some people thought. I've seen a lot of comments saying, like, didn't they just announce this? No, this was announced back in January 2022 that they were working on a first-person shooter, and it's just now that it's been cancelled. So it's been in early development for a while now, and I think the reason given for this is just so crap. We are also sunsetting games and moving away from development of future licensed IP, that we do not believe will be successful in our changing industry. That's what CEO Andrew Wilson said, which I hate nearly every part of. If you didn't want to make licensed games, why did EA have an exclusivity for Star Wars video game scene for 10 years? This thing just really pisses me off. And I don't usually jump on the hate train of stuff, but it's awfully tempting for something like this. At the same time, look, we knew nothing about this game. All that stuff that came out a week or two ago, that was just rumors. There was nothing confirmed, nothing concrete. We never even saw anything from this game. So this isn't like a 1313 thing where we've seen demos, we've seen gameplay. We saw nothing from this game. So at the same time, I'm a little bit like, that's kind of annoying that it didn't go through. But we don't know what we lost here. So it's an easier pill to swallow in a way, but it's still very annoying. That said, we know that Jedi 3 from Respawn is still safe and being worked on, and we didn't hear any word about Bit Reactor's strategy game being cancelled either. So for now, it looks like that is still on, and I hope it is, because that is the one that I'm actually most interested in. Sticking with video games in a bit more of a positive light, Dark Forces Remastered came out, and it is amazing. If you've never played it, Dark Forces came out originally in 1995 for PC and Mac, and then in 1996 for the PlayStation 1. It's where you played as Kyle Katarn. Now, to show my age here, I grew up in a country town that didn't have a lot of shops, and the stock that came through in terms of games was every 6 months to a year they would do a refresh. So when my parents bought me and my sister a PlayStation, we only had a handful of games like Crash Bandicoot, Gran Turismo, and maybe a Final Fantasy in there. The only way that I was able to play Dark Forces on PS1 was by renting it from Video Easy when we went on holiday somewhere that had it. Yes, you could rent video games from video shops. It was great. The remaster is out now though, and it's been so much fun. I played through the first 6 missions last night, and I am just having a blast doing it. It looks great, it sounds great, it's a joy to play, it feels really good. It's got a ton of concept art. There's a lost mission in there I think that you can play. It's fantastic. I've been having a great nostalgic time with it. It's fantastic. Try it out if you can. More video game news in the Star Wars front though. Embracer Group is apparently selling Saber Interactive in a $500 million deal, and Saber is going to go on to become a privately owned company. The reason this is interesting is because Saber is the one that took over development of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake from Aspyr. And in the report, they said that they're going to be continuing to work on the KOTOR remake. Now, I called this game dead a month or two ago. I did a whole video on it, and I was like, no, it's dead. I don't think this thing's ever coming out. This is a sign of life. This is like a weak pulse. It's not much, but it's something. I still have very little faith that this will ever see the light of day, and if it does, it's not going to see it for another 5 years, because the development cycle has been an absolute hell for this thing. But it's something, so you never know. We'll keep our eye on this one. The Bad Batch Season 3 continues this week with Episode 4, A Different Approach, which focused on Omega and Crosshair. I've already done a separate video on this, so you can go and watch that. But yeah, I'm loving this season so far, and I thought this episode was a lot of fun. Also, in that video, I asked if anyone could tell me what card game they played in that episode, because it didn't look like Sabak, and I didn't know what it was, and it was bugging me. It's a new game called Balance. They said this on StarWars.com. They made a whole rule book for it, and I hope they make that public soon, because I'd like to play this game, because as someone who makes videos on little lore and games and stuff in the Star Wars universe, I would like to know more about this and play it. We got an excerpt from John Jackson Miller's upcoming book, The Living Force. The book will be out in April and follows the Jedi Council on a mission prior to the events of The Phantom Menace. I'll put a link in the description so you can go read the excerpt for yourself. It's looking good. I'm looking forward to this book. And we also got a cover reveal for The Edge of Balance Volume 3. This is a manga series that's been part of the High Republic project, and I've only read Volume 1. It was a fun story though. I really liked the characters, and it was nice to see Star Wars through a different cultural lens. It was a lot of fun and I really appreciated it, so I'm glad that they're continuing with it. And I think that's it for news this week, at least everything that I heard of. I'm going to go and play through the rest of Dark Forces and start achievement hunting that. Make sure you follow me here and on TikTok, subscribe to the channel. I love talking about Star Wars, it is my favourite thing in the world, and yeah, I'll see you next time. May the Force be with you, always.